Gino, this is such a fascinating film, and you play different parts in this whole entire thing. You're writer, you're director, and you're co-star in it. I'm curious to find out, where did the idea for this fascinating film come from?
Oh wow. Um, I wrote a film about the deployment of Bitcoin in 2010 and 2011 that was covered by the FBI. And I was working with the FBI film department on that. And it went into development hell. And then I was kind of upset by that because, I had a lot of A-list actors attached at that time, going back to 2011, because I was the first person in Hollywood to write about the deployment of Bitcoin. And after it went to development hell, sadly, I went to Florida and I wrote Lumina in 7 days. And I said, I want to write a movie about people's experiences, people's experience, or like their feeling that they would experience when someone is abducted or taken away from them. Because I haven't seen that, so I wanted to see how people react psychologically to someone being abducted and how what they would do. And that's how I went about writing the movie. So alien abduction and how a group of friends react to that and what they do in return. So, and if they go on a path of discovery and a journey of discovery to find that person. And that's how I came up with the idea, really.
Gino, every single one of the actors you have in this, and certainly including Andrea and Eleanor, are just incredible. Their intensity to this movie is just palpable. How hands-on were you when it came to casting the movie?
I'm always hands on. Oh yeah. I'm a I like to pride myself as an actor's director. I love being in the trenches with the actors, improv, going over it. I saw the auditions for like Eleanor and Andrea, and I was like, yeah, I want to cast them. I want to work with them, and I think that they're going to bring the stuff to the movie, man. Bring that juice. I mean, for me, it's kind of like you know, I love cinema. I'm a cinephile. I've studied acting, and it's something like trying to get the best out of actors. And I got amazing performances from Andrea and Ellie, and they gave their heart and soul. It was during COVID. We were shut down. You know, curfews, like being locked down. The country can't fly out, can't fly in. We're under a lot of severe conditions shooting under the COVID at that time in 2020. And I think they did an amazing job. And just having them on board was like a real blessing to have actors that are really fully committed to the roles, though. So,
Eleanor, how was Tatiana originally described to you, and what was it about her that drew you to be a part of the movie?
I think she is just very mysterious. So I think you're naturally drawn to someone who doesn't give everything away. So I felt that she seemed like a challenge, but then we also have similarities in that I feel like she is quite a shy person and she is quite introverted. So that was elements of myself that I could bring to it. Um, but yeah, just this kind of mysterious past that she has that we get snippets of just made her so intriguing to me. So I just thought I have to be part of it.
And you talk about how Gino described then the relationship between Tatiana and Delilah.
Oh, uh, I don't know how much I can talk about that for spoilers, but like they're definitely in conflict with one another. And I think on both sides, they're both redefining what it means to have a friend or a frenemy in your life and up close, I
Is
guess.
that what you then found challenging about this particular role?
I think what I found challenging about the role was just sometimes the conditions, as Gino said, it was like during COVID, um and then we were shooting in the desert and it was really cold. And I think, yeah, those practical things made it really, really challenging. But emotionally speaking, I thought it was just an incredible adventure. And I just dove right in. Um, and I brought my A game, I hope, Gino.
Yes.
She did. She did.
Gino
She did.
Yeah.
co-signs.
Everyone brought it. Everyone brought the A game. I think that
Yeah.
we came together at a very special time. It was one of the. It was. I would say probably one of the most difficult moments in film history to make a movie.
Right.
And we were and Jamie, we were like one of the only movies filming at that time. Outside of Hollywood as an independent Hollywood feature, and we were faced with -15 weather, extreme cold in the Atlas Mountains, desert, heat, like everything,
Yeah, that
so
was tough. That was tough. I remember those, yeah, those nights in the desert. It was like, but
freezing.
thankfully we had an amazing team and, the efforts put into like keeping us warm to keep us warm all the time and keep us hydrated. But it
Yeah.
was tough. It was tough because, the intensity of it all and to keep those emotions, and that emotional preparation under those conditions. It was tough at times. But
Yeah, and in
but
fact, I was
yeah.
very demanding myself, demanding blood, sweat, and tears out of the performance as well. That also added to the fuel to the fire, as they say.
Eleanor, how did Gino describe Alex and Tatiana's relationship, or was it there really all on the page for you?
Yeah, I think it was all on the page, and I think myself and Rupert and Gino had an awareness that it's it's kind of the most important relationship, because if you don't buy it and you don't believe it and it's not strong, then you sort of don't care what happens with the rest of the film. So you need to be rooting for this couple, and we did a lot of work on that as a little three, and I think that's often where the sort of improvisation would come into it, because you're on set, you meet this person, and now you have to play in love with them. But I felt a great chemistry with Rupert, so that was very helpful. But a lot of it was on the page, and I do think that the setting of Morocco and some of the beautiful shots we got of us as a couple really helped inspire that romantic thread of the movie.
Yes, there is a great cinematography to this, Gino, as well. Was it important for you to get these specific exterior shots so you could have that as sort of a landscape so people could really buy into this loneliness and this isolation of everything?
Oh yeah, Jim. Thank you so much. My D, it's so funny. My DP at the time was Larry Smith, who worked with Stanley Kubrick, and he, we were talking about framing and color, and my colorist does a lot of stuff for Sony and Lionsgate. Like I had a really excellent team from cinematography to post production, and Larry sadly went back for Christmas vacation to London, and that's when the second wave of COVID happened. So I lost my entire British camera team and my DP. So I shot the rest of the movie with my A-cam operator, Raquel, who did an amazing job.
Incredible.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah, she did an amazing job with me. Her and I worked together really closely. She was on a lot of Marvel stuff. She worked with my good friend Gabrielle Beristain. We shot Black Widow, and he couldn't make it, of course, because he's in Cuba shooting with Ron Perlman. So he sent Raquel to work with us and Larry, and me and Raquel crafted the rest of the movie, color everything. Yeah, it was a labor of love. But definitely our main thing was best having the best light, having the best framing, making sure everything is beautiful. I wanted to shoot a lot of the exterior shots to show how big the movie was. How big these scenes were, how big these sets were. Like the opening, scene, um, it I only had about 4.5 hours to shoot that.
Wow.
We're running out of light, running out of time. We were shooting. I think the day before we shot 16 hours. It was crazy. And then the next day I had 4.5 hours to shoot that with Raquel and I. And I said, okay, this is where we're shooting. And we I gave her my shot list. I'm like, we're shooting that, and we shot it 4.5 hours. But it turned out amazing.
It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot.
Thank you.
And were you always in mind to be a hazmat man, or was that just a happy coincidence?
It was like a joke. I was like, okay, let's throw this in, let's do some cooking and yeah, let's get this going. It's like a cameo, I was doing my best Tarantino.
Oh, there's so many incredible scenes to this movie, as Gino and I talked about just a moment ago. There's darkness, there's intensity, there's love, there's so many different facets to this movie. Is there a particular scene that you're most proud of the work you did on?
Um, I really loved working with Rupert Lazarus, who plays Alex. And there's just a very simple scene that we did, the sort of poolside. It's like a flashback scene, and I think um, it's just kind of a good scene because it doesn't give too much away, but it just lets you know a bit more about their relationship and about the signs and her Tatiana's kind of desperation to tell Alex and let him in. And who knows, if she'd had the confidence to do that, maybe the whole plot could have been prevented, But it
Sorry,
just,
Gino.
yeah. But thank goodness she didn't have the confidence. But I do think, and throughout the writing, there's all these kind of subtle moments and subtle threads that I think when you rewatch, you'll be like, if only they'd done that or done this, or yeah.
Andrea, what about you? Was there a particular scene that you're most proud of?
Um, well, there are many. I think one of the biggest challenges for me was to kind of, in a way, by the end of the film, stay in character because I really loved everybody. And sometimes, the conflict had to remain all the way to the end. But
Sure.
I think the end, I think it was a scene very close to the end of the film where I've I've integrated that love for my fellow cast for my fellow colleagues, and I it was subtle, but yeah, it was there, and that was my favorite.
I think it's going to be a spoiler, but I know exactly what you're talking about, Andrea.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Jamie knows too.
Gino, we talked about all these great different genres within this movie and all these magical moments. What do you think it is about Lumina that's just going to make it a fast fan favorite watch?
I think there's something in it for everyone. I think that um, they're gonna love it because they won't get bored because you're gonna get sci-fi, you're gonna get horror, you're gonna get the love, the comedy, and it's very hard to straddle that and keep the tone even in a movie, without it going wacky. And between the cinematographer, myself, and my editor Tom Noble, and the team and the actresses and everyone else, we managed to keep that tone and that even tone. But there's so many underlying tones and elements to this movie. The underlying love story, and how far would you go for the one you love, kind of thing. And infusing comedy and sci-fi and horror into that, I think makes for a very exciting ride.